Good morning, dear students. Today we will continue with our ninth chapter, that is heritage management, in which we have already discussed 9.1, that is sources of history, their conservation and preservation. In that we have studied about the oral sources, the written sources, and the material sources, and the necessary training required for the preservation and conservation of these sources of history. We have also discussed about some famous museums like the Lore Museum, British Museum of England, and then few um, also the National Museum of Natural History, United States of America. Then we have also studied few Indian museums like Government Museum, National Museum, Asiatic Society of Bengal, that museum. And we have also discussed the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya. Later on, we have also discussed libraries and archives. And in 9.4, encyclopedias, we have discussed about the benefits of encyclopedia, types of encyclopedia. And today we will start from the encyclopedia and history. Encyclopedia and history. Encyclopedia and history as academic exercises put stress on objectivity. So, as it is discussed on the background of academics, history and encyclopedia give more stress, they give more importance to the objectivity. Encyclopedias published in various countries and in various languages may differ in their approach because of the different priorities. Now, different languages and different countries have different priorities. Uh, their focus of interest or their more important things might differ, and so the uh, approach, their attitude towards encyclopedia may differ slightly. The structure is influenced by national policies, ethical values, and details. Encyclopedias can be a medium of strengthening national identity. Now, children, how does this approach change? That depends, or their structure of the encyclopedia is influenced by the national policies. Whatever the policies of that nation are, accordingly that changes. Then the ethical values and ideas. What are the ethical values and what are the ideas of that country or that particular language? So all these things, the structure of the encyclopedia depends upon. Encyclopedia can be a medium of strengthening national identity. So through encyclopedia, the national identity of any country can be improved, it can be made still stronger. For example, Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh, edited by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. This is one of the best examples of how the uh, national identity is strengthened. So, in this book, also, Mahadev Shastri Joshi has tried to strengthen the um culture of India, Indian culture, Samskruti of India. Making knowledge in all spheres of life accessible to everybody can be one of the major drives behind the creation of encyclopedias. The other intention, the motive, or the other perspective or approach towards making the encyclopedia can be giving knowledge or making knowledge available in all the spheres of life, in all the fields, accessible to everybody. An inspiration to gain and spread knowledge motivates either individuals or a group of people to create encyclopedias. Hence, encyclopedias are looked upon as outstanding achievements of a society. It is a manifestation of the collective intellect and creativity of a society. Children, manifestation means a sign that something is happening, the public display of emotion or feeling, and something spiritual becomes real. If something spiritual becomes real, it is also called as manifestation. So, may, encyclopedias also do resemble as the uh, sign that something is happening, or that the public display of emotions or feelings, or it also can mean something spiritual is coming real. It also is looked upon as an outstanding achievement of a society. It is looked upon as a great opportunity of the society, and the sign of something is happening in the collective intellect and creativity of a society. Intellect is collective knowledge and creativity of a society. The following are the early encyclopedias. So this is just for your knowledge. Natural history was the first encyclopedia by Pliny the Elder, 1st century AD. Encyclopedia. The Encyclopedia by Diderot, the French philosopher of the 18th century CE. Encyclopedia Britannica. This encyclopedia was first published in 1767 CE. This is supposed to be an important milestone in the making of encyclopedia. There is an ancient tradition of dictionaries like Nigantu, Shabdakosh, etc. The encyclopedic works of Mahanubhav sect Rajavyavhar Kosh prepared during the reign of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj are important in the books of medieval period. Encyclopedias and history related subjects. There is a rich tradition of creating encyclopedias on history related subjects. 23 volumes of Maharashtriya Jnanakosh, edited by Sridhar Venkatesh Ketkar, are available. The major drive for Ketkar in creating it was to facilitate wider access to knowledge and to expand the intellectual sphere of Marathi speaking people. He, the motive or the major intention of Sridhar Venkatesh Ketkar before or for these Maharashtriya Jnankosh was that he intended that he wanted to create a facility so that many people can access, more number of people can access the knowledge, and he also wanted to expand the intellectual sphere, that is the knowledge of Marathi speaking people. His far reaching view of history, and which is reflected in these volumes. Children, the word here far reaching means having a lot of influence on a lot of other things. So because of his great knowledge in other fields of history also, so that is reflected, that can be very well seen in these volumes of Maharashtriya Jnankosh. Bharatvarshiya Charitrakosh is another important encyclopedia. Siddheshwar Shastri Chitra established a committee known as Bharatiya Chitrakosh Mandal for publishing this encyclopedia. Three volumes were published, namely Bharatiya Prachin Charitrakosh, Bharatiya Madhyam Yugin Charitrakosh, in 1936, and Bharatiya Arvachin Charitrakosh in 1946. So children, as the title indicates, amongst the three volumes, the first was the Bharatiya Prachin Charitrakosh. So in this, Charitra means the characteristics or characters, and Prachin means old. So in this, the people in ancient times of India, their characters are given, are mentioned, which was published in 1932. Then Bharatiya Madhyam Yugin Charitra Kosh, which was published in 1937, describes about the uh, Indian great Indian people during the Middle Age, that the medieval period, and the Bharatiya Arvachin Chitrakosh, which was published in 1946, relates to the era after the medieval period. The first volume includes information on the lives of individuals mentioned in the Vedic literature, including Shruti, which means what is heard, Smruti means memory, Sutras means rules, Vedangas. Vedangas are children the six auxiliary disciplines of Hinduism that developed in the ancient times and have been connected with the study of the Vedas. For example, which includes the Vedangas, six Vedangas include Shiksha, that is phonetics, grammar, that is Vyakran, then metrics, that is Chanda, astronomy, Jyotisha, rituals, that is rituals, that is Kalpa, and Virakti means etymology. Upanishads. Now, Upanishads means basically old or ancient, but it also refers to any of the 18 collections of Hindu legends and religious instructions, and also Puranas. Then it also has the Jain and the Buddhist literature. So the first edition relates to the ancient era, which gives us the information about the life of the individuals mentioned in the Vedic literature. It also gives us the information about the Shruti, Smruti, Sutras, Vedangas, Upanishads, and the Puranas, and the Jain and Buddhist literature as well. Similarly, other two volumes contains biographies of individuals in the respective period. So it gives the Madhyam Yugin and the Arvachin Chitrakosh gives us information about the biographies of the people in Madhyam Yugin is mentioned in the medieval period, and the Arvachin, that is after the medieval period, the biographies of certain individuals is mentioned in the Arvachin Chitrakosh. Moving ahead to do you know some special encyclopedias. The first is संगीतकार व कलावंत यांचा इतिहास written by Lakshman Dattatreya Joshi. The second is क्रांतिकारकांचा चरित्रकोश written by S.R. Date. It contains biographies and illustrations of about 250 Indian revolutionaries. The third one is the Swatantra Sainik Charitrakosh written by N.R. Phatak. It contains the biographies of those who suffered corporal punishments, impositionment, and those who devoted their life for the independence movement. Children, the what should be or what must be mentioned in this Charitrakosh is very clear from the title itself, where it says Swatantra Sainik Charitrakosh. So all these people who have sacrificed their lives or who have given a major part of their life towards the independence movement is included in this Charitrakosh written by N.R. Phatak. Sthalakosh. Geographical information is essential for historical studies. Children, Sthala Kosh means the collection of things, and Sthala means related to the place or related to the land. So in this Sthala Kosh, geographical information about various places is given, and this geographical information is very important for the historical studies. Encyclopedias giving information about historical places are available. Sthalapothi, 14th century CE, is an encyclopedic text which is composed by Muni Vyas of Mahanubhav sect. It describes all those places visited by Chakradhar Swami, the founder of Mahanubhav sect. It gives us an inkling about Maharashtra in those days. Children, the word inkling means a slight feeling. So it gives us a slight feeling of Maharashtra in those days, how Maharashtra was in those days. So basically in Sthanapothi, which was written in 14th century CE, is an encyclopedic text which was written by Muni Vyas of Mahanubhav sect, and it describes all the places that was visited by Chakradhar Swami, Chakradhar Maharaj, and he was the founder of the Mahanubhav sect, and it gives us an slight feeling of the Maharashtra in those days. It also gives details about the time, place, and background of the events described in the Leela Charitra. So it also gives us the details about the time and about the place and the background. So overall a view of the events that are described in the Leela Charitra. Hence it is a very good source of writing about the life of Chakradhar Swami. Prachin Bharatiya Sthalakosh, published in 1969. Prachin Bharatiya Sthalakosh, 1969. Siddheshwar Shastri Chitra compiled this encyclopedic book. It provides information about various places mentioned in Vedic literature. Kautilya Atharva Shastra. So Prachin Bharatiya Sthalakosh is a book written by Siddheshwar Shastri Chitra, and in this encyclopedia he he provides information about various places mentioned in the Vedic literature. Various places mentioned in the Vedic literature. In the Kautilya Arthashastra, also in Panini's grammar, Valmiki's Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, medieval Sanskrit literature, and Shabdakosh, also in Jain literature and Buddhist literature, in Greek literature, Chinese, Persian literature. So, Prachin Bharatiya Sthalakosh includes the information compiled by Siddheshwar Shastri Chitra, and it mentions about various places which are mentioned in Vedic literature: Kautilya Atharva Shastra, Panini's grammar, Valmiki Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, medieval Sanskrit literature, and Shabdakosh. Also in Jain and Buddhist literature, in Greek, Chinese, Persian literature. Vishwakosh. The first Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Honorable Shri Yashwantrao Chauhan, initiated the compilation of Marathi Vishwakosh through Maharashtriya Rajya Sahitya Sanskriti Mandal. So the Honorable first Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Yashwantrao Chauhan, he started the compilation of Marathi Vishwakosh, and which was through the Maharashtra Rajya Sahitya Sanyukta Mandal, with a view to enhance the sphere of Marathi language and literature. So he wanted to increase the extent of Marathi language and literature. The work was started under the guidance of Tarkatirtha Lakshman Shastri Joshi. It contains knowledge about all possible subjects in the world. It also contains many important entries about history. Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh. 10 volumes of Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh were edited and published by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. These volumes contain information about Indian history, geography, various ethnic and lingual groups, local history local history of those groups, and their festivals and other cultural aspects. So there are 10 volumes of Bharatiya Sanskriti Kosh, which was edited and published by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. These volumes give us the information about Indian history, Indian geography, also about the various ethnic means connected with or typically of a particular race or religion. So it gives us information about the particular race or particular language or religion and language groups. Then it also gives us information about the local history of those groups, their festivals, and their other cultural aspects. Samdhya There are encyclopedic texts explaining the terminology. For example, instant colonialism. Samdhya Kosh. There are encyclopedic texts explaining the terminology. For instance, colonialism, globalization, etc., of history. So this Samdhya Kosh gives us the information, or this encyclopedia reveals the explanations or reveals the meanings of the terminologies which are quite frequently used in history, like colonialism, globalization, etc. Such texts are very useful for the teachers of history. School, college, and university teachers of history can find ample opportunities in the field of publication of encyclopedias. So, since this Samdhya Kosh deals more, this encyclopedia deals more with the explanation of terminologies used in history, so it is very useful for the history teachers in school, college, and universities. Also, um, an vast amount of opportunities in the field of publication, and we can find vast opportunities in the field of publication of encyclopedias. Encyclopedias of all types requires experts in history, because about each and every subject or each and every topic included in encyclopedia, a little bit of information is given which is generally related to the history. So in all types of encyclopedias there is always a requirement of experts in the field of history. Every subject has a developmental history, so every topic, every subject has a history on how it developed, like starting from a scratch or starting from a very small smaller thing. It grows on, it keeps on growing, so that development involves history, and therefore scholars of history can contribute significantly to encyclopedia of various types, and therefore the contribution of the scholars of history in all types of various types of encyclopedia is very significant. After studying this textbook, you must have noted that the specialization in history, one can get access to several career opportunities in various fields. You can choose your future career with the help of the information in this textbook. Children, since this is the last chapter of our history section, so by this through these 9 chapters we have come to know about various fields, various opportunities, career opportunities that are available in the field of history. So those who are interested in history and wish to make their career in history can get a very good overview or very good information with the help of this textbook relating to what all career options are available in this field. So here we come to the end of this chapter, and that's all for today. I hope you have understood it. Thank you so much, and for any queries you can definitely message me. Thank you so much.